Jin Ho Kim stared at the screen, his eyes tired after 18 hours of work. The small research station Epsilon 9 floated quietly in space, far from Earth. Jin Ho was the only one awake at this hour. The other 11 crew members slept soundly in their quarters. "That's odd," Jin Ho muttered, tapping the screen. The readings from the nearby asteroid belt showed something strange. Something big was moving through the rocks, something that didn't belong there. Jin Ho reached for his coffee cup. It was empty. With a sigh, he pressed the communication button. "Commander Park, I think you should see this." 5 minutes later, Commander Ha-1 Park stood behind Jin Ho, her short black hair still messy from sleep. Her eyes narrowed as she studied the screen. "Could be a mining ship," she said. Jin Ho shook his head. "No scheduled mining in this sector for the next 3 months. And look at the size. It's too big." Before Commander Park could respond, the communication system beeped loudly. The sound echoed through the quiet station. Jin Ho and Ha-1 looked at each other in surprise. No one was supposed to contact them for another week. "This is Commander Ha-1 Park of Earth Research Station Epsilon 9. Who is calling?" Static filled the room. Then a voice came through, strange and musical, with words that seemed to flow together. "Greetings, Earth vessel. This is Captain Selleck of the Narek ship Forsyth. We request emergency docking. Our ship is damaged." Jin Ho felt his heart beat faster. The Narek. No human had ever met them face to face. They were known only through distant communications and trade agreements. And now they were here, asking to dock with their small research station. Commander Park hesitated. Station protocols require authorization from Earth Command for any unscheduled docking. "Please," the voice said, a note of desperation clear even through the strange accent. "Our life support systems are failing. We have many injured. We will not survive the journey to the next outpost." Ha-1 turned off the communication link for a moment. "What do you think, Jin Ho? You're our xenobiologist." Jin Ho swallowed hard. The right thing to do is help them. But we should wake Tai Sung and his security team first. Commander Park nodded and pressed the station-wide alert. Within minutes, the rest of the crew was awake and moving to their stations. Tai Sung, the head of security, looked grim as he handed out stun weapons to his team. "I don't like this," he said. "Why are they in this sector?" "There's nothing here but us." Jin Ho had no answer. He watched on the main screen as the Narek ship came into view. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. The ship was huge, easily 20 times larger than their research station. Its surface gleamed like black pearl, with strange patterns of light moving across it. "Epsilon 9 to Narek vessel," Commander Park said, her voice steady despite the tension. "We will allow emergency docking. Please use airlock 3. Our medical team will meet you there." Jin Ho stood at the back of the welcome party. His hands were sweaty. This was why he had become a xenobiologist, to study alien life. But now, as the airlock door slowly opened, he felt afraid. The first Narek stepped through the door. It was tall and slender, with skin that seemed to shimmer with colors. Its 4 arms moved gracefully. Large eyes, completely black, looked at each human carefully. "We thank you for your mercy," it said, bowing deeply. "I am Selleck. We will not forget this kindness." Jin Ho stepped forward, his scientific curiosity winning over his fear. "Welcome to Epsilon 9, he said. As more Narek entered the station, Jin Ho couldn't shake a feeling of unease. Something about their eyes, something about the way they moved, something wasn't right. But it was too late now. The Narek were here. 3 days had passed since the Narek arrived at Epsilon 9. The station felt crowded now. 27 Narek moved through the hallways, their tall bodies graceful despite the low ceilings designed for humans. Jin Ho sat in the lab, watching as Selleck examined a sample under the microscope. The Narek scientist moved with purpose, all 4 of his arms working together perfectly. "Your technology is Different, Selleck said. His voice had a musical quality that Jin-Ho found pleasant. Simple, but clever. Jin-Ho wasn't sure if he should feel insulted or flattered. "We make do with what we have," he replied. "Your ship is unlike anything I've ever seen." Selleck turned his large black eyes toward Jin-Ho. "We have been traveling the stars for thousands of years longer than humans. You will catch up, I think." In the mess hall, Tai-Sung watched the Narak with narrow eyes. He didn't trust them. The security chief sat with his back to the wall, his hand never far from his weapon. "They eat our food without complaint," he said to Commander Park as she joined him. "Don't you find that strange? Alien biology should need different nutrients." Hadawan shrugged. "Jin-Ho says they're very adaptable. Their bodies can process many types of food." "Too adaptable," Tai-Sung muttered. "And why were they in our sector?" "There's nothing here." "They said they were running from the Veldar," Commander Park reminded him. "We've sent messages to Earth Command. Until they respond, we help our guests." Back in the lab, Jin-Ho watched as Selleck moved around the room, touching equipment with his slender fingers. There was something fascinating about the Narak. Their skin changed colors slightly based on their mood. Right now, Selleck's skin had a bluish tint that Jin-Ho had learned meant curiosity. "May I ask why the Veldar were chasing you?" Jin-Ho asked. Selleck stood very still for a moment. "They fear what they do not understand," he said finally. "Our people have abilities they lack. They want to destroy what makes us special." "What abilities?" Jin-Ho asked. Selleck's skin flickered to a deep purple before returning to normal. "We adapt quickly. We learn quickly. He seemed to search for the right word. Connect with each other in ways humans cannot." Jin-Ho wanted to ask more, but the station alarm suddenly blared. Red emergency lights flashed in the corridor. "What's happening?" Selleck asked, all four arms pulling close to his body. Jin-Ho rushed to the communication panel. Jin-Ho to command. "What's going on?" Commander Park's voice came through, tense but controlled. "We've received a message from Earth Command. All station personnel report to the main deck immediately." Jin-Ho looked at Selleck. "You should return to your people." When Jin-Ho reached the main deck, the other human crew members were already there. Commander Park stood at the front, her face serious. "Earth Command has sent us information about the Narak," she said. "They want us to secure all station systems immediately and restrict our guests to the guest quarters." Tai-Sung nodded in satisfaction. "I knew something was wrong." "What did they say?" Jin-Ho asked. Commander Park looked troubled. "Not much. Just that the Narak may not be what they claim to be. We're to await a military vessel that's being sent to our location." Jin-Ho thought about Selleck, about how open and friendly he had seemed. "Maybe it's a misunderstanding," he suggested. "Maybe," Commander Park said. "But orders are orders. Tai-Sung, take your team and escort our guests to their quarters." Politely, but firmly. As the security team left, Jin-Ho felt uneasy. Through the main window, he could see the massive Narak ship attached to their small station. It seemed darker now, the lights on its surface moving in patterns that somehow felt wrong. "Do we know when the military vessel will arrive?" Jin-Ho asked. Commander Park shook her head. 3 days, at least. Jin-Ho stared at the Narak ship. "I hope that's soon enough." Night cycle on Epsilon 9 was quiet. Most of the human crew slept, with only 2 people on duty. Jin-Ho couldn't sleep. He sat in the small lab, looking through a microscope at a sample of Narak skin that Selleck had given him before being confined to the guest quarters. "This can't be right," Jin-Ho whispered to himself. The cells were changing as he watched. They seemed to be adapting to the human cell sample he had placed next to them. He had never seen anything like it. The door to the lab slid open. Jin-Ho turned quickly, surprised to see Ju-Rei, the communications specialist. "You should be sleeping," she said. Her face looked worried. "I could say the same to you," Jin-Ho replied. Ju-Ri closed the door and lowered her voice. I picked up a signal. A weak one. It wasn't meant for us, but our systems caught it. What kind of signal? A distress call from Mining Colony 6. It's gone now. The colony. She swallowed hard. The colony is gone. Destroyed. Jin-Ho felt cold. What do you mean gone? The message was breaking up, but they kept saying one word over and over. Ju-Ri's eyes were wide with fear. Narak. Jin-Ho looked back at the microscope, at the cells that were changing before his eyes. We need to tell Commander Park. They found Ha-Won in her quarters, already awake and talking to Tai-Sung. Commander, Jin-Ho said, we have a problem. Ju-Ri explained about the distress signal while Jin-Ho told them about the strange behavior of the Narak cells. Commander Park's face grew more serious with each word. The military vessel won't be here for 2 more days, she said. We need to secure the station now. Tai-Sung nodded. I'll wake my security team. Wait, Jin-Ho said. I want to talk to Selleck first. Maybe there's an explanation. Commander Park hesitated, then nodded. Be careful. Take Ta-Sung with you. The guest quarters were quiet when they arrived. Too quiet. The guards posted at the door were gone. This is wrong, Tai-Sung whispered, drawing his weapon. They should be here. The door to the guest quarters slid open. Selleck stood there, all 4 of his arms hanging loosely at his sides. His skin was now a deep red color that Jin-Ho had never seen before. Jin-Ho, Selleck said, his voice still musical but somehow colder. You should not have come. What happened to the guards? Ta-Sung demanded. Selleck's black eyes seemed to grow darker. They are with us now, as all humans will be soon. Jin-Ho stepped forward. Selleck, we know about Mining Colony 6. What did your people do? We did what we must, Selleck replied. Your species has so much potential, but you waste it. You fight among yourselves. You destroy your own planet. We will help you reach your true potential. By killing us. Ta-Sung asked angrily. Not killing. Changing. Improving. Selleck's skin rippled with waves of red. The Veldar tried to stop us because they fear change. They call themselves defenders, but they would keep all species trapped in their current forms. Jin-Ho remembered the cells under the microscope. You're not refugees, he said slowly. You're invaders. Selleck's mouth curved into what might have been a smile. We are saviors. Suddenly, the station's lights flickered. The alarm system wailed once, then went silent. What did you do? Commander Park's voice came through Jin-Ho's communicator. Before Jin-Ho could answer, Selleck spoke again. It has begun. Do not fight it, Jin-Ho. You are special. You could be the first to join us willingly. Tai-Sung fired his weapon, but Selleck moved with impossible speed. More Narak appeared behind him, their skin all the same deep red. Run. Ta-Sung shouted to Jin-Ho. Get to the command center. As Jin-Ho turned to run, he saw Ta-Sung fall as 3 Narak surrounded him. Throughout the station, he could hear screams. The Narak were everywhere now. And their ship, still attached to Epsilon 9, was glowing brighter than ever. Jin-Ho ran through the corridors of Epsilon 9. Emergency lights flashed red, casting strange shadows on the walls. He could hear footsteps behind him, the soft, quick steps of the Narak. Command center, he gasped into his communicator. Commander Park, do you copy? Static answered him. Then a weak voice broke through. Jin-Ho, stay away, from the command center. It was Commander Park, but she sounded strange. Her words came slowly, as if she was fighting to speak. They're in our heads. Jin-Ho turned a corner and nearly ran into 2 of his human crewmates. He stopped, relieved to see familiar faces. Guy 1. Hi Jin. We need tow. The words died in his throat. His crewmates stood still, staring at him with empty eyes. Their skin had a faint red glow to it, just like the Narak. "Join us, Jin-Ho," Jaiwan said, his voice flat. "It doesn't hurt. It feels good." Jin-Ho backed away slowly. "What did they do to you?" Hai-Jin smiled, but the smile didn't reach her eyes. "They helped us. They're in our minds now. We understand so much more." Jin-Ho turned and ran in the opposite direction. The lab. He needed to get back to the lab. It had a sealed air system for dangerous experiments. If the Narak were using some kind of airborne agent, he might be safe there. As he ran, more of his crewmates appeared in the corridors. All had the same empty eyes. All reached for him as he passed. Jin-Ho dodged their hands and kept running. The lab door was just ahead. Jin-Ho punched in his code with shaking fingers. The door slid open, and he threw himself inside, quickly sealing it behind him. "Think, Jin-Ho, think," he muttered to himself. Through the small window in the door, he could see Hai-Jin and Jaiwan approaching slowly. They didn't seem worried that he had locked himself in. Jin-Ho moved to the air system controls and checked the readings. There it was, an unknown compound in the station's air. The Narak had released something into the ventilation system. "But why am I not affected?" he wondered aloud. The communication system in the lab crackled. "Jin-Ho." It was Commander Park's voice again, stronger now. "Can you hear me?" "Commander, where are you?" "Maintenance shaft, near the command center," she replied, her voice strained. "The neural implant from my last surgery. It's helping me fight them. A little." "What are they doing to everyone?" Jin-Ho asked. "Neural toxin. In the air. It opens the mind to their control. They're like a hive. They're taking over everyone." She paused, breathing heavily. "Why aren't you affected?" Jin-Ho looked at his medical file on the lab computer. "My rare blood condition. The medication I take must be protecting me somehow." A loud bang on the lab door made him jump. Hai-Jin, Gaiwan, and now several Narak stood outside. "They're coming for me," Jin-Ho said. "Listen carefully," Commander Park said urgently. "The research module, it can detach from the main station. It has its own life support and engines." Jin-Ho looked around the lab. Yes, this whole section could separate in an emergency. It was designed that way in case of dangerous experiments. "But what about you? The others?" "Too late for us," Commander Park said, her voice breaking. "I can still control some systems. When I say, 'Now, hit the emergency release,' I'll create a distraction." Jin-Ho moved to the control panel, tears in his eyes. "Commander, I can't leave you all." "You must," she said firmly. "You're the only one left. You have to warn Earth." The banging on the door grew louder. The metal was beginning to bend. "Now," Commander Park shouted. Jin-Ho hit the emergency release. Alarms blared as the lab module separated from the station with a violent jerk. Through the window, he saw the Narak stumble back as emergency doors slammed shut throughout the station. The last thing Jin-Ho saw was Commander Park on a small security screen. She stood in the command center, surrounded by Narak. Her skin was beginning to glow red, but she smiled at the camera. Then the screen went dark as the research module drifted away from Epsilon 9. Jin-Ho was alone now, the only human not under Narak control, the only one who could warn Earth. 3 days passed since Jin-Ho escaped from Epsilon 9. The small research module drifted through space, its emergency power keeping life support running. Jin-Ho sat at the tiny control panel, trying once again to send a message to Earth. "This is Jin-Ho Kim of Research Station Epsilon 9. Emergency. The Narak are hostile. I repeat, the Narak are hostile. They have taken control of Epsilon 9 and all crew members except me. Do not trust them if they approach Earth." Static answered him, as it had every time before. The module's communication system was too weak to reach Earth directly. Jin-Ho didn't even know if his messages were going anywhere. He checked the oxygen levels again. 3 more days, maybe 4 if he remained calm, and used as little energy as possible. Food wasn't a problem. The research module had emergency rations for weeks, but without oxygen, those rations wouldn't matter. Jin-Ho moved to the small medical station and drew another sample of his own blood. Under the microscope, he could see why the Narek's neural toxin hadn't affected him. His blood cells had an unusual shape, the result of his rare condition. The medication he took daily had changed his neural pathways just enough to make him immune. "I need to document everything," he said to himself. Jin-Ho had been recording all his findings, all his memories of what happened. If someone found this module after he was gone, at least they would know the truth. As Jin-Ho spoke into the recorder, a light on the control panel began to blink. Something was approaching. His heart raced. Had the Narek found him? He moved to the window and looked out. A ship was coming toward him, but it wasn't the black pearl-like ship of the Narek. This ship was silver and blue, with sharp angles, and what looked like powerful weapons. The communication system crackled to life. "Unknown vessel, identify yourself," a stern voice demanded. Jin-Ho rushed to the panel. "This is Jin-Ho Kim of Earth Research Station Epsilon 9. Who are you?" There was a long pause. Then the voice returned, cautious now. "This is Captain Krell of the Veldar Defense Force." "Did you say Earth Station?" Jin-Ho felt a rush of hope. The Veldar. The ones Selleck had called enemies. "Yes, the Narek attacked our station. I'm the only one who escaped. They've taken control of the rest of my crew." Another long pause. "This could be a Narek trick," the voice finally said. "They are masters of deception." "It's not a trick," Jin-Ho said desperately. "I have proof. I have samples of their neural toxin. I have recordings of everything that happened." "The Narek can mimic other species," Captain Krull replied. "We cannot risk bringing you aboard." Jin-Ho looked at the oxygen display. The numbers were getting lower. "Please," he said, "I'm running out of oxygen. In 3 days I'll be dead. Check my module for Narek life signs. You won't find any." Hours passed as the Veldar ship kept its distance, scanning Jin-Ho's small module again and again. Jin-Ho waited, growing more anxious with each passing minute. Finally, the communication system came to life again. "We will bring your module into our ship," Captain Krell said, "but it will remain sealed. We will continue our tests." Jin-Ho felt the module shake as the Veldar ship's systems locked onto it. Slowly, his small sanctuary was pulled toward the much larger vessel. Through the window, Jin-Ho could see the Veldar for the first time as their ship's loading bay opened. They were shorter than humans, with strong builds and skin that looked like polished stone. Their eyes were large and alert, their movements quick and precise. The module settled onto the floor of the Veldar ship with a soft thud. Armed Veldar surrounded it, weapons pointed at the door. Jin-Ho gathered his research samples and recordings. Whatever happened next, he needed to convince these people that he was telling the truth. Earth's survival depended on it. "I'm coming out," he called through the communication system. "I am unarmed. I need your help." Jin-Ho took a deep breath and opened the module door. Jin-Ho stepped out of the module with his hands raised. 20 Veldar soldiers pointed their weapons at him. Their stone-like skin gleamed under the bright lights of the ship. "Move slowly," Captain Krell ordered. He was shorter than the others, but stood with clear authority. "Any sudden movements, and we will fire." Jin-Ho nodded and carefully placed his research samples and recordings on the floor. "These contain proof of what I've told you. The Narek are using a neural toxin to control my people." A Veldar in a white uniform stepped forward. Unlike the soldiers, this one had markings on his face, thin lines of blue that formed patterns around his eyes. "I am Chief Medical Officer Tan," he said. "I will examine these." He picked up Jin-Ho's samples with careful hands. For 3 days, Jin-Ho was kept in a clear cell, Veldar scientists examined him through the walls, taking readings but never entering. Jinho answered countless questions about Earth, about the Nerak attack, about his immunity to their toxin. He was beginning to lose hope that they would ever believe him. On the fourth day, the cell door opened. Captain Krell entered, along with Chief Medical Officer Tan, and another Veldar Jinho had not seen before. "This is High Commander Rix," Captain Krell said. "He has come from the Veldar homeworld to meet you." High Commander Rix studied Jinho with ancient eyes. "Your story is verified," he said finally. "Your blood contains antibodies that fight the Nerak toxin, and your recordings match what we know of their tactics." Jinho felt a wave of relief. "Then you'll help warn Earth." High Commander Rix nodded slowly. "We will do more than warn. We will help you fight. The Nerak have been our enemy for generations. They have destroyed many worlds before yours." "I'm not alone then?" Jinho asked. "No," a new voice said. A door opened, and a human man walked in. He looked to be in his 50s, with graying hair and tired eyes. "You're not alone, Jinho." Jinho stared in shock. "You're human. How?" "My name is Du Hyun," the man said. "I was a scientist on New Mars colony when the Nerak came. They said they were traitors. By the time we realized the truth, it was too late for most of us. The Veldar rescued me and a few others. That was 2 years ago." Jinho felt his knees go weak. 2 years. They've been planning this for that long. High Commander Rix gestured for Jinho to sit. "Longer. The Nerak moves slowly but with purpose. They select worlds carefully, worlds with populations they can use. Your Earth, with its billions of inhabitants, would be their greatest prize yet." "How do they do it?" Jinho asked. "How do they control people?" Chief Medical Officer Tan displayed images on a screen. "The toxin changes neural pathways. It creates a connection between the victim's mind and the Nerak collective consciousness. They become extensions of the Nerak themselves." "But my medication prevented this," Jinho said. "Yes," Tan agreed. "And this gives us hope. We have been fighting the Nerak for generations, but have found no way to stop their toxin once it is released. Your blood might be the key." Do Hyun placed a hand on Jinho's shoulder. "We need your help. The Veldar have intercepted messages from your station. The Nerak ship left Epsilon 9 2 days ago. It's heading for Earth." Jinho felt cold fear grip his heart. "How long until they reach Earth?" 1 month, perhaps less," Captain Krell said. "We are already on course to intercept them, but we may not arrive in time." High Commander Rix stood tall. "Jinho Kim, the Veldar Alliance offers you our full support. Your immunity may be the weapon we have sought for centuries. Will you work with us to create a defense against the Nerak?" Jinho thought of Commander Park's sacrifice, of his crewmates now controlled by the Nerak. He thought of Earth, unaware of the danger coming their way. "I will," he said, standing to face High Commander Rix. "Tell me what to do." Jinho stared at the blue-green planet through the window of the Veldar ship. Earth looked peaceful from space. Its people had no idea what was coming. "We're too late," Captain Krell said, pointing to the radar screen. 3 Nerak ships are already in orbit. 2 more are approaching the planet. Jinho felt sick. For 3 weeks, he had worked with Du Hyun and the Veldar scientists to create a vaccine against the Nerak neural toxin. They had made progress, but they needed more time. "We can't give up," Jinho said. "There must be a way to land without being detected." Do Hyun nodded. "The Veldar ship has stealth technology. We can slip past the Nerak ships if we're careful." High Commander Rix entered the command center. "We've received reports from our scouts. The Nerak are following their usual pattern. They've approached Earth as refugees seeking help. They've already docked at spaceports in 5 major cities, and our governments welcomed them," Jinho said bitterly. "Just like we did on Epsilon 9. The world leaders are acting strangely," Du Hyun added, "making decisions that don't make sense. The Narek must have already exposed them to the toxin. Jin Ho thought for a moment. "We need to go to Seoul," he said suddenly. "My sister works at the Korean Neural Research Institute. If anyone can help us complete the vaccine, it's her." Captain Krell looked skeptical. "Is it safe? If the Narek are already in major cities?" "Jia-yun has the same rare blood condition I have," Jin Ho explained. "She might be immune like me. And the Institute has the equipment we need." 2 hours later, the Veldar ship landed quietly on the roof of the Neural Research Institute. It was night in Seoul, but the city was strangely quiet. No cars moved on the streets. No people walked on the sidewalks. "They're already taking control," Do Hyun whispered as they left the ship. Only 4 of them had come: Jin Ho, Do Hyun, Chief Medical Officer Tan, and a Veldar soldier named Vex. Jin Ho led them to a side door and used his old key card. To his surprise, it still worked. The building was dark, with only emergency lights glowing dimly. "Jae-yun's lab is on the 5th floor," Jin Ho said. They moved quietly through the empty hallways. Jin Ho's heart pounded in his chest. Where was everyone? The institute usually had scientists working at all hours. "Wait," Vex said suddenly, raising his weapon. "I hear something." They froze. Jin Ho could hear it too. Soft footsteps coming from around the corner. He held his breath. A woman appeared, her face half hidden in shadow. She stopped when she saw them, her eyes widening. "Jin Ho," she whispered. "Jae-yun." Jin Ho rushed forward and hugged his sister tightly. "You're okay." Jae-yun pulled back, her face serious. "Not for long. The Narek are everywhere. They released something into the air systems 3 days ago. Most people in the city are already under their control. But not you," Jin Ho said. Jae-yun shook her head. "Our medication protects us, but they're hunting anyone who isn't affected. There are few of us left. We've been hiding here, trying to understand what's happening." "We know what's happening," Jin Ho said, "and we have a plan to stop it." In Jae-yun's lab, they found 5 other scientists, the only ones in the institute who had resisted the Narek control. Jin Ho quickly explained everything, while Chief Medical Officer Tan showed Jae-yun their work on the vaccine. "This could work," Jae-yun said, studying the formula. "But we need to produce enough to spread it worldwide. And we need a delivery system. The institute has production facilities," one of the scientists said. "We could make enough for Seoul at least." Jin Ho nodded. "That's a start. If we can free one city." Alarms suddenly blared throughout the building. Red lights flashed in the hallway. "They've found us," Jae-yun said, her face pale. "The Narek know we're here." "We need to move," Do Hyun said, grabbing the vaccine samples. "Now." Jin Ho looked at his sister. "Is there another way out?" Jae-yun nodded. "The emergency stairs. This way." They rushed down the hallway, the alarms still blaring. Through the windows, Jin Ho could see people walking toward the building. Dozens of them, moving together with the same stiff steps. Their skin had the faint red glow he remembered from Epsilon 9. "Faster," Vex urged, his weapon ready. "They're surrounding the building." They reached the emergency stairs just as the elevator doors at the end of the hall opened. 3 Narek stepped out, their skin deep red, all 4 arms extended. "Run," Chief Medical Officer Tan shouted. The group raced down the stairs. They could hear footsteps above them, more Narek and controlled humans following. "The basement," Jae-yun said. "There's a tunnel that connects to the next building. We've been using it to move around the city safely." They burst into the basement level. It was dark, lit only by emergency lights. Jae-yun led them to a heavy door hidden behind some storage boxes. "Hurry," she said, entering a code. The door slid open, revealing the narrow tunnel. As they moved into the tunnel, Jin Ho heard a noise behind them. He turned to see a group of controlled humans entering the basement. "Go." Jae-yun pushed him forward. "I'll close the door." "Not without you," Jin Ho insisted. Jai-yun looked at him with sad eyes. Someone has to stay behind to lock the door from this side. Otherwise, they'll follow us. No, Jin-ho said. There must be another way. There isn't, Jai-yun said firmly. The vaccine is more important than any one of us. You know that. Before Jin-ho could argue further, Do-hyun pulled him into the tunnel. She's right, he said quietly. We need to protect the vaccine. Jin-ho watched helplessly as his sister closed the door, her face determined. The last thing he saw was Jai-yun turning to face the approaching controlled humans, a small smile on her face. The tunnel was long and narrow. They walked for nearly an hour before reaching another door. This one led to an underground parking garage. Where are we? Jin-ho asked, his voice hollow. The loss of his sister weighed heavily on him. Seoul National University Hospital, one of the scientists explained. We have a small resistance group here, doctors and researchers who are naturally immune like us. They were taken to a hidden area of the hospital, where about 30 people were gathered. Some were working on equipment, others were watching security monitors. Is this all that's left? Jin-ho asked. Do-hyun shook his head. There are other groups like this around the world. Small pockets of resistance. We've been in contact with some of them. A doctor approached them. You have the vaccine. Chief Medical Officer Tan nodded. We do, but we need to produce more. Much more. And we need a way to distribute it, Jin-ho added. For 3 days, they worked tirelessly. The hospital had enough equipment to produce larger quantities of the vaccine. Meanwhile, Jin-ho made an important discovery. The Narek control has a weakness, he told the group. When I was on Epsilon 9, I noticed their ship had patterns of light on its surface. I think these are connected to their collective consciousness. Do-hyun looked interested. Go on. Each major city has a Narek ship docked near it, Jin-ho explained. I believe these ships contain what you might call control nodes, centers that maintain their connection to the controlled humans in that area. So if we destroy the nodes, Vex began. We might break their control, at least temporarily, Jin-ho finished. Long enough to administer the vaccine to people. A plan began to form. They would need to coordinate attacks on all the Narek ships simultaneously. It would be dangerous, nearly impossible, but it was their only hope. Jin-ho looked at the small group of resistance fighters. I know what we're asking is difficult. Many of us won't survive. But if we do nothing, humanity is lost. One by one, the resistance members nodded. They would fight. Dawn broke over Seoul. Jin-ho stood on the roof of the hospital, watching the sky turn pink. In 6 other cities around the world, resistance teams were in position, waiting for his signal. Each team carried bombs to destroy the Narek control nodes and sprayers filled with the vaccine. It's time, Do-hyun said, joining him on the roof. The Veldar ships are in position above each target city. Jin-ho nodded. He touched the small photo of Jai-yun in his pocket. Let's go. Their team moved through the empty streets of Seoul. 10 people. Jin-ho, Do-hyun, Vex, 2 Veldar soldiers, and 5 human resistance fighters. They carried their weapons and equipment in backpacks, trying to look like the mindless controlled humans that walked the streets. The Narek ship loomed ahead, hovering above Seoul Plaza. It was smaller than the one that had attacked Epsilon 9, but still impressive. Controlled humans moved in and out of it, carrying supplies and equipment. Remember the plan, Jin-ho whispered. Teams of 2. Plant the bombs at the points we discussed. Meet back here in 30 minutes. They split up. Jin-ho and Do-hyun headed for the main entrance of the ship. 2 Narek stood guard, their red skin glowing in the morning light. Follow my lead, Do-hyun said. He slumped his shoulders and let his face go blank, like the controlled humans. They walked right past the guards. Inside, the ship was eerily beautiful. The walls pulsed with light, patterns flowing like blood through veins. This way, Jin-ho whispered. The control node should be at the center. They moved deeper into the ship. Jinho's heart pounded in his chest. Every few minutes, they passed Nerek or controlled humans, but no one stopped them. Finally, they reached a large chamber in the center of the ship. A crystal structure floated in the middle, pulsing with red light. 7 Nerek stood around it, their arms raised as if in worship. "That's it," Jinho whispered. "The control node." Do-hyun checked his watch. 10 minutes until synchronized attack. "We need to get closer." They crept around the edge of the room, staying in the shadows. Jinho removed the bomb from his backpack and began to set the timer. Suddenly, a voice spoke behind them. "I knew you would come, Jinho." Jinho turned slowly. Selleck stood there, his red skin glowing brighter than the others. Behind him were 2 controlled humans, Commander Park and Taesung from Epsilon 9. "You see," Selleck said, "your friends are still alive, just improved." Jinho felt rage build inside him. "You haven't improved them. You've enslaved them." "Such a limited view," Selleck sighed. "We offer unity, peace, no more fighting, no more suffering." Do-hyun moved closer to Jinho. "Keep him talking," he whispered. 3 more minutes. Jinho stepped forward. "Why Earth? Why us?" "Your species has such potential," Selleck said. "Such adaptability. Like you, Jinho. Your immunity is fascinating. We could learn from it." A loud explosion shook the ship. Then another. "The other teams," Do-hyun said with a smile. "Right on time." Chaos erupted. The Nerek around the crystal rushed to defend it. Selleck's 4 arms reached for Jinho, but Do-hyun pushed him away, taking the hit instead. "Run," Do-hyun shouted, falling to the ground. "Finish it." Jinho ran toward the crystal, dodging the arms of the Nerek. He threw the bomb directly at the control node. It stuck to the crystal surface and began to beep. "Everyone out," Jinho yelled to his team. As they ran for the exit, Jinho heard a strange sound, like thousands of voices screaming at once. The controlled humans in the ship began to fall to the ground, clutching their heads. Jinho's team made it outside just as the ship exploded. The blast threw Jinho to the ground. When he stood, he saw that the Nerek ship was destroyed. All around, formerly controlled humans were waking up, confused and afraid. "Start spraying the vaccine," Jinho ordered. "Quickly, before they recover." Reports came in from around the world. Similar explosions in New York, London, Beijing, Moscow, Cairo, and Rio de Janeiro. The plan had worked. The control nodes were destroyed, but it came at a terrible cost. Of Jinho's team, only he and 2 others survived. Do-hyun had died saving him. Most of the other resistance teams around the world were also lost. As they sprayed the vaccine into the air, Jinho's communicator beeped. It was Captain Krell from the Veldar ship. "Jinho, the Nerek mothership is approaching Earth's atmosphere. They're planning to release an even stronger toxin globally. We can't stop them in time." Jinho looked up at the sky. He could see it, a massive black ship breaking through the clouds. This was their last move. If they couldn't control Earth, they would poison it. "I need a ship," Jinho said. "Something fast."